This is inspired by Vampire's knife culture and Creed video that he made. I personally believe that these two knives, the Leatherman Surge and the Buck 110, are the only two knives that you're ever going to actually need and use. I find that a lot of people, they are on this endless search for the perfect knife or the perfect tools or gear, and they never find it because it's not out there. There is no perfect knife. And I've come to find that these two knives will do just about everything that you're going to actually need. I don't serve in the military. I'm not a police officer. I just don't need a tactical knife. The only time that I'm actually using these are in a utilitarian purpose, opening boxes or something along the lines of that. The tools and the things that we have don't define who we are. The things that we do with our life and the experiences that we have, I believe, are the things that define who we are. So if we spend our whole life, or a majority of our life, searching for materialistic items, what's the point in that? Especially if you're not using them. A lot of people carry these knives and they're really high-end knives and they don't want to use them because they're really expensive. Whereas with these, I don't have an attachment to these. If I had to throw them out, I can throw it out if I have to, or if it gets confiscated, which I've never had anybody give me a hard time about these. Whereas with some of the tactical knives, like a Cold Steel knife or something along the lines of that, if you pull that out and people aren't used to being around knives, they aren't necessarily comfortable about that. Whereas if you pull one of these out, or Buck makes a smaller knife, it's the Buck 112, and Leatherman makes a smaller one, the Leatherman Wave. So if these are too big, you can get smaller ones, but I think that these work pretty well overall. They both have a lifetime warranty pretty much. The Leatherman has, I believe, a 25-year warranty, but if you call them or you send your knife in, they'll repair it or send you a new one for free. You just have to pay for the shipping. And the same thing goes with Buck. They're both great companies and they're not gonna break your bank. So instead of spending a ton of money, you can even find both of these usually on eBay. The only bad thing about that is that you have to watch for the knockoffs or copy knives. But most generally, I've been pretty fortunate. Another thing with the tactical knives or the military knives or something along the lines of that, most of them I find are scams. They don't necessarily perform the way that I feel they should. I just bought a Headhunter knife and we did a test where we bought, well, the class that I went to, they bought a pig and we got to stab it and see how the knives would perform in an actual well, as close as you can get to an actual situation in self-defense, and the knife ended up failing. The tip bent on it. It would still work, but for $500, that's not what you, or not what I would expect in a knife that's supposed to save your life when you need it, or be something to bet your life on. I wouldn't want to bet my life on that. On the other hand, if you're wasting all your money on knives and you have no training in martial arts or any sort of training in using them, so you don't cook and use knives in the kitchen, or you're not gutting out deer if you're a hunter, or bushcrafting or anything along the lines of that, you don't know how your knives work. If you just have it sitting at your house, or if you just carry it and you never use it, you're not going to be efficient in using it, most likely. I've seen several people that'll carry 5+ knives, and they think that because they have a lot of knives on them, or this even goes with handguns, if you buy a handgun and you don't practice with it, it can get taken away from you and used against you. So you're putting yourself in a worse situation than you were already in. When you pull a knife or a gun, you should have the intent to use that. If you don't feel that you would ever have the intent, you probably shouldn't carry a knife or a gun for that purpose anyways. So I finally got to the point where I was like, why am I even doing this? I have these 2 knives, and I know that they work. They're not perfect, but they will do anything within reason that you're gonna probably encounter. You're not gonna get into a knife fight, most likely. I've never gotten into a situation like that. And for the average person like you or me, I'm gonna guess you're not gonna have that. And if you're afraid that you are, I would recommend that you go and take martial arts, or start doing like practice shooting, or get your concealed carry, something along the lines of that. It would be much more efficient. That's all I got. Take care, guys.